Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Zero, here with another creepypasta. Tonight, I figured I'd go for something a bit darker. Something some of y'all have probably heard about before. Well, I don't know if this is the first story concerning this character, but I wanted to try one or two about him, and if anyone out there knows the first one for him, feel free to let me know. Because he seems to have some interesting stuff written about him. This story is called Slender. He's just standing there, still. It's been 2 months since I started seeing him. I walk through Roswell Park every day after school. Usually I stay at school for longer to study for my GCSEs and A-levels. Since it's winter, it does get dark pretty quickly. But lately, I've been noticing a disturbance in the woods. I realized a lot of the trees were dying very quickly, so it didn't seem like it was because of the cold. It may sound cliche, but do you ever get the feeling you're being watched? But the weird thing is, it seems like being watched by the trees, or something in the trees. I end up panicking and running from him. But something disastrous happened a few weeks later. I ran and turned around. My eyes slowly adjusted to the light and saw it. He was tall, around 9 feet tall, and I couldn't even see his face. He wore a black suit and even looked like he had more than 2 arms. They were appendage-like. I stood on the road, unable to speak or move. Then I was run over by a car that sped off into the night. The last thing I saw was my sight being distorted and him looking over my crippled body. Still. I awoke screaming to the sight of light. There was silence. There was a cast on my arm and lots of needle points in my neck connected to a tube. It didn't feel like a hospital. It was way too quiet. No beeping or doctors or nurses talking. Just silence. I got up and limped my way through the almost abandoned-looking hospital. But what was that thing? What did he want from me? I found tapes in a dusty and decayed old cupboard. I had to use some force to crack open the possibly 100-year-old lock. The tapes looked brand new. I took the bag and limped through the hospital. I found a long hallway that looked like an exit at the end. It stood, staring at me. All the lights suddenly turned on, one by one. At the end, I saw him again. This bastard really wanted to get me. I realized how badly he must have wanted to get me. "Come on, you son of a bitch, come get me!" All the lights shut off. I turned and ran. It seemed I had been doing that a lot in the last couple of weeks. My limp slowly got worse, but I was quite athletic, so I kept up my strength. I heard children playing and laughing. Where did that come from? Through a bunch of dirt and debris, I saw a slightly cracked window. I realized this was probably my only exit. I threw myself towards the window and flew out of the building. Luckily, I was only on the 2nd floor, so the only damage done were shards of glass in my arms and legs. I couldn't even tell what time of day it was. The sky was completely gray, no sign of sun or moon. After limping away, I kept telling myself, "He'll forget about me. He will forget about me. He'll forget about me." I finally arrived home. I felt a wave of relief. I can go get this shit all off of me and go to bed. That bloke was probably just some stupid prank from one of my mates. I walked through my drive and saw blood on the doorstep. I was shocked in fear. Again. I told myself again, "He isn't real. He isn't real. He isn't real." Written in blood on the door was a circle with a cross in the middle. Inside he stood, his whole body arched. My vision became fuzzy.